Welcome to the Tony Montgomery podcast. I'm your host, Tony Montgomery, and the purpose of the podcast is to explore human nature, the behaviors of why we do the things that we do, what can cause some of the issues in human behavior, such as mental health disorders, dealing with tough situations, how we can overcome them, but also some of the things that make humans beautiful and make us thrive. So it'll be an exploration of the sciences and also an exploration of lived experiences, talking to people who have boots on the ground that have done the work, have seen the things, and have managed to become successful in life, and also the trials and tribulations that that person had to overcome. Myself personally, I am doing research and focusing on ways to use exercise to improve mental health disorders and sedentary lifestyles, while also combining the use of cognitive behavioral tools such as reappraisal, growth mindset, emotion regulation, a lot of the things that are discussed within the cognitive behavioral therapy techniques that people use within the therapeutic setting. And that's my research, but my background is in exercise science and health, and being a coach for 15 years, owning my own gyms and running through the rigors of trying to get people as strong and fast and as resilient as humanly possible is something that I've explored my entire life, and something that I've done previous podcasts on with great coaches. And I think that by talking to people will allow us to understand different dynamics of human nature, human behavior, and also what separates maybe potentially some of the highest performers from people who haven't quite got it figured out. It'll be a full spectrum of people to interview and guests to talk about, while also covering poignant that go directly into the things that I'm researching, the things that I'm teaching within the university setting. And I think this will give us a good understanding and a good dynamic of the research, the science, but also what people are experiencing out there. As we know within the research, as you read it, a big tendency of people tend to think that the research is 10 to 15 years behind what people are actually doing in the practical setting. I think that's something that we always want to focus on when we're thinking about evidence-based research: is what's the anecdotes that are working right now, and how can we create research to dive into those and see why they're working, as opposed to just dismissing them. So that's going to be the journey that we're going to go on throughout this podcast. And as I develop more into the research of what I'm doing, both qualitatively and quantitatively, through interviewing people and finding out what makes them push forward, what makes them pursue challenging situations, but also what are some of the things that they had to overcome. I think this is going to be a good melting pot of ideas and topics, covering things from philosophy to consciousness to psychology to health and fitness, nutrition. I'm talking to some of my former military friends and talking to some people in the industries that maybe we don't necessarily correlate to nature and human behavior, but play huge roles. So it's going to be a big dive into curious topics that make us think outside of the box and make us think better, as opposed to trying to provide you with the answers. The idea of the podcast is to make you think, grow, and learn about things from different perspectives and different research and different sciences. So that'll be the goal. There'll be some solo episodes, there'll be a lot of interviews, and we're just going to continue to explore and dive in as deep as possible to curiosity and what makes human beings so great and complex, and what are some ways that we can improve some of these circumstances and situations. How can we get better as human beings, both with how we view others and how we view ourselves? So that'll be the dynamics of the podcast. I hope you guys enjoy it, and please feel free, let me know anything that you guys want to cover, any topics, any guests, and I'll do my best to get them on. And the first episode will be out here shortly, and we'll be talking about emotion regulation and how we can utilize that in daily activities to improve our mental health, and what are some of the physical health ramifications of that as well, and how can we dive into the physical exercise side of things to get the best out of our nature and human behavior. So join me for the episodes, and I'll look forward to hearing all the feedback you guys have.